Hey, how you doing? My name is Gregory Martin. We're going to be talking about what I learned after watching Enhanced Supply Chain Risk Management to increase relentless. And starting off, relentless and risk management go hand in hand, just so it can create a strategy to create their objective goals. And starting off, only about like 38% of organizations actually take lessons from their past disruptions and use them to build a better plan. And I believe like that makes sense because the only way you can move forward is learning from your past and your history. So that makes sense on why only 38%, but I believe it should be higher with what's going on. But also, I can also understand why it's a low percentage because every company is different and every business is in different locations. So they're not gonna have the same disasters that go on. So some of them cannot just learn from their past. So they're just gonna be learning as time comes. Also, them companies are reactive. So that would be a big issue, especially in a world where supply chain are facing everything, such as political, global, and unfamiliar disasters, whether it's from COVID, from trade wars, or just natural disasters like floods or hurricanes. And another thing that I learned were the two approaches, which are risk responders and risk shapers. And I learned about what they mean, which is risk responders handle risk after it hits. So they focus on being relentless and flexible. So it'd be easy for them to bounce back fast. And they can use real-time visibility and create quick reaction skills. Whereas risk shapers are proactive. So they avoid and minimize risk altogether. Instead of just responding, they design their system to be safe from the start. So I ask someone like yourself, which one would you choose? And I say in my opinion, I'd be a risk shaper because that means I already prepare for the unknown, and that makes sure my company stay ahead rather than I'm just waiting for something to happen. The next thing would be measuring the real cost of disruption. And it's not enough to say about what disruption happened, but you know how much it'll cost you, from inventory loss or the relocation, mercy shipping, the factory downtime, and paying workers overtime. And that caused a lot of things because you don't want no strike to happen, because it happened before where the workers didn't feel like they didn't get paid, and that caused a delay in getting inventory shipped out. So it just sitting on ships. This cargo is waiting just to be shipped out. So you don't want them type of problems, as well as over $100 billion was lost due to disasters that happen throughout the world within 1 year, and it's going to keep growing as well. So another thing I learned about was strategic capacity and critical products, and also understand that not all products are equal. Some are critical, meaning that if you can't produce them, your whole company could stop, and you don't want your business to stop. So companies can make smart decisions about what to produce, where to produce it, and how to source it, because you don't want to be a company that'd be good with producing one thing, but you don't want to lose out on you don't want to lose customers by another opponent because they do something better than you. So you want to keep improving your business as well as expanding. So because it's not about how to do it. It's more so about just being strategic and not chasing the cheapest option. So always do your research on the products that you're trying to get, just so your business won't just be stagnant. Because the smartest, safest option is for the long term. And you don't want to do nothing just always for short term. Short term is never good. You always want to look for something long term for business. Another thing would be making risks everyone responsibilities. So risk management can't sit just on one department, like legal finances. A lot of it plays in many roles to help make it successful, such as operations, finances, and sales. Also, I learned about what a risk. Also, I learned about a risk register, and understand that it's a document used in risk management to identify accesses as well as prioritize potential risks. So it provides a structure overall, and using this, it'll be more so make sure if nobody not responsible, nothing's gonna get done. And just making sure you answer all the questions like, are we doing enough right now to manage this? Like, do we need extra control, or who owns this risk? Because if nobody responsible, nothing's gonna get done. So that'd be a reason why we need risk registers. And going to that is also monitoring the risk proactively, meaning that both responders and shapers monitor the risk. But the shapers data will be different because, for one, they're gonna have better supplies because they are already prepared for the worst. Whereas responders, they just responding to the situation at that moment, so they don't really have time to have no data from the past to help them move forward in the future. So that's one thing. Also, with picking safer factory locations, as well as avoiding partnerships in unstable regions. So it's a lot of research into make sure you doing your job correctly. Well, I don't want to say doing your job correctly, but making sure, doing your job correctly so you won't lose out on nothing. Another thing would be the business case for relentless. So one of the biggest excuses companies make is being relentless is expensive, but majority of the time, more expensive means not to be prepared. So it protects revenue, customer trust, reputation, and even helps reduce insurance costs. So overall, you really want to just prepare for the future. Well, I'll say I'm just hot. Like for overall, you really just want to prepare for the future. So in supply chain, it involves more than just moving boxes. You got cybersecurity, you got sustainability regulations, you got charges and customer behavior, and global instability. So with everything, going back to the basics, you just gotta be prepared. So do your research, connect with the right people, as well as stay on top of the news, because if you're not watching the news, you're gonna sink your business because you're not paying attention, and you don't want to do something where it was a law that had got passed and you don't want to get a lawsuit or anything like that. So I would just say there'll be things that I learned, just being strategic, and yeah. Also, I'll just give you some examples of some risk shapers and some risk responders. And I'll say a risk shaper would be Amazon, because they always work into the future and figuring out how can they get their shipment to become even faster, as well as preparing for any disasters. And they've been doing this for 20 plus years, to the point where they basically one of the main sources to get your product. So I'll definitely say there, as well as Apple. And yes, Apple not really doing anything on the shipping standpoint, but in the sense of upgrades and just make sure the hacks and so on, and just getting it better with improving on their technology, they'd be a risk shaper. For a risk responder example, I'll say the airplanes where they had crashes and you couldn't really, that was out of somebody's control. So that'd be a risk responder, because they had to, after that moment, they had to now work on how can we prevent that from happening again. So I'll say that.